Good evening. This is the Elliott Wave daily update for the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 for Tuesday, May 28th, 2024. Both the markets did continue to move higher today, although it was a little bit more in line with the NASDAQ than the S&P, but both did end up closing higher by the end of the day and then put a little bit extra on there after hours as well. So I'm going to start on the NASDAQ. I'm looking at the weekly chart just to kind of show that I did make one change over what I presented on the larger weekly technical update. And that is that I moved the minor third wave into completed position, actually. So before I had labeled this 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we were looking for the completion point of this minor third wave. And so I figured it would be pretty big. And so I came back down and I looked at it versus the other markets. And I felt that it was 1, 2, 3, 4. We're inside the fifth, which is also extending even better than the third did, but seems to be in its finishing mode there. And what it would be completing then is intermediate wave 3. So it could be the other way around, but right now I feel a lot more comfortable with the market getting ready to complete the intermediate third wave, and then we get a little bit larger of a pullback now with that fifth wave coming in a little bit later that I believe will take us then into September and maybe towards the end of the year. But to consider that we might just continue to go higher from now until the end of the year is also still out there. But I believe that what's happening now is really going into June the 7th. So we really have about another week and a half here before NVIDIA splits 10 to 1. Now, granted that it's like if you had one share, you're going to have 10 shares and so on and up, but the price of the stock will come down by quite a bit. So with the volatility, everything gets worked out. So let me just say, but it does open up NVIDIA to the concept is that it'll just explode higher yet again. So what I think could happen is that things start to just move sideways a little bit, or we have that correction. So if we have that bigger correction now, then we have that possibility of dropping back down into here. Now that's quite a bit, or at least into here. And so again, I'm just kind of seeing what we can do, but I'm leaving it as such. So let's just kind of go over that. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, looking for that fifth wave, bringing it down. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. So here we have coming up, there is the minor 4, which at the April low, the October 2023 low. And then we had 1, 2, 3, and then a nice 4, and that was down to the April expiration low. And then we start to go up in our fifth wave. And it's, again, minute wave 5 to complete, minor 5 to complete intermediate wave 3. Now, if we go back to fibs, this is up pretty high because we've already gone through everything up to 2.618. 1.618 would have come in down here. We would have gone through that. And then so the next one up the line is 2.618, and that's all the way up at 19,896. But what's more important, again, as I usually say, it's going to be the structure. Now the structure tells us that we're going up in a fifth wave, within a minute fifth wave. So we can add one more layer here and go up to there, right there, and go over to here. And so again, we're going to be taking out everything up to, so we're taking out 618, take out the zeros, 618 and that. And again, these are going to be in the white color because they are the minute degree. So we can put this up so we can see them live. And we want to go this one to the white. Okay, so there, come on. And there we go. So what we have is 1.618. That takes us all the way up. This is the minute 4. So we still have, we could power higher. So I'm going to bring it down again because inside of this thing, if this is minute wave 5, that consists of 5 waves of minuet degree. Now we're going to bring it down again. I'm going to look at the hourly chart. And here we are. Actually, I can go one more. I got to get more days of my hourly chart. There we go. So here we have minuet 1, 2, 3, 4. And so we're inside this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Minuet wave 3, minuet wave 4. As in both markets, I did mark it as complete. Obviously, the rally does suggest just that. And so, and the rally actually began on Sunday during the Globex session, and then continued on Globex yesterday, and then picked up again in the afternoon, and then just continued all the way up. So what are we doing up to here? Well, we're minuet 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in minuet wave 5. Now, also going to be a 5-wave structure. So I'm going to break it down again. I'm going to look at the 15-minute chart. And there again, minuet wave 4, minuet wave 3, ABC down. And we're just going to start. I believe we've only finished sub-minuet wave 1 of minuet wave 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4. And then it's nasty, ugly, but it's a 5, and I'm going to say whatever tick. These are small time frames. It's not pretty. You can break it down, but I believe it will fit. And so I'm calling this minuet wave 1, minuet wave 2 goes right there. A, B, C, and then we blast it up again as a good start for a 3rd wave. Now, where can this minuet wave 5 come in? Well, our first stop would be 19,043, and that just happens to be a new high, so that part's fulfilled. But we would be inside a 3rd wave, and I think this 3rd wave should blast right through there. So how far can it go? Well, 19,167 is up next. It is a fib, but it is attached to a much different form, a much different wave pattern. And that would be the primary B. So that would knock that one finally for the NASDAQ out. And then we'd be, headed to much higher levels. Now, if they all jump in tomorrow, and we're seeing that NVIDIA is still in play, and they're scooping because everybody wants now to partake in this opportunity to pick up a lot more shares to carry forward. And at that time, it also makes NVIDIA more attractive for smaller traders and smaller firms and everybody else. So if I'm considering that we may have only finished sub-minuet wave 1 and sub-minuet wave 2, and we're in a 3rd, then I would believe that 19,043 is going to get broken pretty cleanly. And then we have additional resistance. So it's 19,043 to 50, 19,075, 19,100. Those are just the round numbers. I would expect we'll find resistance there. Once we can get additional levels to put in, then we might have a different story. In fact, one that I normally would put in, it's going to come out strange. So again, we're dealing with just levels that, we're already up here. Or 3 equals 1, and that would work. Maybe a little bit more to make it the longest. See, but we're starting to get way up as to finish this. Can we get there? Yes, because everything kind of turns in support of what NVIDIA is doing. Then we get rallies like we saw, not by the end of the day, but early on in Apple. We saw AMD up 7 or 8 at one point during the day. So a lot of these are kind of moving in concert with NVIDIA, how long that lasts. Now remember, NVIDIA is going to split on the 7th of June. So on the 7th of June, everything is going to get reworked. That doesn't mean that the NASDAQ is going to drop from wherever it closes down 10%, because that's not going to be. This is one stock and everything is relative in terms of it all goes in, because it's the number of shares and the weighting of it, whatever the deal is. So what it will do is it'll reduce NVIDIA from like 1,001, whatever it is, 1,040, 1,140, down to 114. That's today, say, for example. And we've seen that done in Amazon. We've seen that done in Tesla. And they were doing it from a 20 to 1 and from a much higher level. So again, as long as that's in play, I believe there will be pressure onto the upside. And so we have 19,043. That would be next up. Now, wave 3 itself, I would think it's going to go pretty much further. I think we got to get up close to here because I don't want wave 3 to come in as the shortest wave. Again, applying the rules. Now, takes us up to 19,300, and that's on this outside. That's the 5th. So, but they're going to match. Eventually we'll fall in and match, but I'd be looking for a 3, a 4, and a 5. Now, wherever we come in. So we got a lot of upside left here, I believe. And difficult to play, I will say. And intraday, position-wise, it also could have been a little bit difficult if you're dealing in the indexes, because they were moving and getting whipped around, which is why I have a lot of the strange moves. So anyway, NASDAQ, I still believe there's additional upside. Ultimately, we need to get above 19,043, excuse me, 19,000, what was this? 23 to complete just the intermediate third wave. So what I'm looking to complete here is just the intermediate third wave. Then we get another wave 4 correction, and then we do this all over again, coming to the upside. So yeah, I know everything that I've discussed, it was wrapped around a B. But remember, I brought this in and said, we need to look at this and we need to consider this. And actually, when I first was feeling that we were coming back up in a primary B wave as a part of a cycle wave 4, I gave all the fibs for an irregular B wave. So I've worked with these since 2022. Now the market is coming up and it's letting us know where things are going to go. But if you were going to tell me that you had some guarantee that the NASDAQ would be above 19,000 in 2024, what we were doing in 2022, I'd be like, man, I don't know if it go that high, maybe. But if it did, I would have told you it was going to be an irregular B wave, and I wasn't looking for that at the moment. Now, we pretty much have eliminated in several other markets. So if we do it here, then this third wave should easily get itself up to 19,000, almost 200. And then we still have additional after that. And then we're going to come back down. We will come down. We may even up all the way up here and then come back down. And so, again, we'll see. We definitely will see. But right now, I'm going to continue to play to the upside and pretty much follow what is going on in NVIDIA. And here's the other thing. NVIDIA is for certain going to split. People are going to still buy in the stock. People are going to be buying calls. People are going to be doing a lot of different things that expire this Friday that put them in a position to take stock. So a lot of this is going to, revolve around trading. It's going to revolve around options, but we should be able to participate in the moves. And hopefully they will turn a little bit cleaner than they did. I mean, towards this afternoon, they were pretty clean in the NASDAQ, but in the morning, they were pretty choppy. And you can look at that right there. They were very, very choppy. Yeah, sorry, you can't really see it. But trust me, they were pretty choppy. All right, I'm going to go over to the S&P and let's get this done. So S&P is basically, let me bring this out. Sorry about that. We're going to go to the 4-hour chart to begin. We got the 3 and the 4 were coming up in the minute 5th wave to complete the minor third wave. And here we are again, staring at this, going 1, 2, 1, 2, put a 3 there, and the 4 overlaps wave 1. Nope. So it's a different situation. So we are finishing minor wave 3 here, and with a minor wave 4 and then a minor wave 5 to finish intermediate third. Now, unless I find something else in how I want to count this, that's how I have to leave it. So it could become problematic. I have to be honest with you. It could become problematic between the two, because thus far, these two indexes, that's why I've kept them, really running side by side because of the larger tech stocks, those larger NASDAQ stocks, are also the larger stocks in the S&P. They carry the heavier weighting. So I would expect them to move together. That might still be the case. But for right now, I'm kind of leaving it as is. Because the only other that I can really suggest from here is that we have 1, 2, and then 1, 2. I'm not sure again how I would count this, but I would get the 3 up to here. So the minor 3 up to here. So even if it's 1, 2, and then 1, 2, yeah, it's really hard, but I don't want to break it down right now while we're all looking. But this is the way I've had to put it. Okay, bringing it down. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. Still into that. So we have this. So for finishing, again, we're finishing the minute 5th wave, and then we'll be finishing up the minor. Again, back out there, we'll be finishing up the minor wave 3. So that would be the correction for the minor wave 4. And again, what I'm looking at here is this area that, let me just go to the daily 1 year. This is the previous 4th. So if we're doing a minor wave 4, then its previous is the minute wave 4. And that's the ticket. So we go up, but we come back down to the lows that we saw in April. And then we run up again. So again, and that's just the 3rd, the intermediate 3rd, and then we come back down again, and we go back up again. So this is going to take a little bit of time, and there's going to be a lot of adjusting in between. And a lot can happen in between to force a count in one direction or the other. I'm going to bring this down to the 1 hour, and I can look in here. So we have, this is minute 4th wave. We're in the minute 5th wave. It would consist of 5 of minuet degree. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. I also put this 4 there. It wasn't left as clean, but now I can see if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this sloppy 5, completing sub minuet wave 1. And then today's low, sub minuet wave 2, and we launch back out of that. Let's drop down to the 15 real quick, and you can see the inside of that. So there's the 4. Minuet wave 4, and now we're coming up, and we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, not pretty, but it fits, 5, and the sub minuet wave 1, sub minuet wave 2, nice start to the rally for a sub minuet wave 3. Now we have for the minuet degree 53.76. That does take care of that in terms of making a new high above 53.68. So it takes care of that one, but we'd be going up in a 3rd. 3rd can get up above, come back down, but again, I don't want to be dealing with this. So let's take a look at where this little 3 should get to. 100% is 53.62. Again, getting above that level, where is 53.68. So I'm looking for it to get above that level, but if wave 3 were to stop close to it, come back down in a 4 and come back up in a 5 and break it, and then come into 53.76 up into here, and as the 5th to finish, then that we're still not blasting, but we're getting close. So still more to do. And so I will again be looking for, here is some resistance, 53.37. That takes us above there, barely, but we need to get more. And so we're going to end up, I believe, somewhere up in here. If we see that strength, which we may not, so it may take a little bit longer as we chop around, but if it gains some strength and everybody kind of rallies together, then it'll go. Don't forget, Dow was down 216, or the other stocks that were down in the NASDAQ, and so it basically finished slightly lower. All right, so moving averages confused like the rest of us, so it's kind of flat. if we're kind of moving out, we can see that they are not in bad shape. There's the 50 kind of getting caught up in a little bit of a downdraft. Everything's looking okay in the meantime. All right, that's going to take care of it for today. Next update will be on Wednesday, May the 29th.